to bring to an end without delay its unlawful presence.
A series of new explosions involving Hezbollah communication devices has resulted in at least 9 fatalities and over 300 injuries.
This follows a pager attack from the previous day that left 12 dead and more than 2,800 injured.
Harvey Weinstein has entered a not guilty plea to a new indictment charging him with a criminal sex act in the first degree.
He appeared in a Manhattan courtroom in a wheelchair, dressed in a black suit, white shirt, and tie.
Los Angeles County is reporting 3 locally acquired dengue cases this year, which is unusual for the area, while nationally there have been at least 3,085 locally acquired cases so far this year.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
I'm not an encourager. Nothing is encouraging. No fact-checking, nothing. No encouraging anything. Encourage it. What I say. Right.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Thank you, Nicolas Cage, for that.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
More smiles.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I'm not making anybody laugh today. Except Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is probably laughing at me. Ha ha ha. You embarrassing old man. Well, no. Actually, let me take that back. Can I take that back? That back. I actually could have been an embarrassing old man. What's that weird hand thing going on over there? He's freaking out. I don't know. He's acting weird again, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It is Friday. That's a good thing, right? Maybe, sort of. Friday, September 20th, 2024. The last day of summer. But it really hasn't been summer here for about 65 years. But so tomorrow is the first full day of autumn. It's also it's not the first full day of autumn. Tomorrow is the autumn solstice, right? Autumn equinox. See, this is the problem. He's shot. Just get rid of him. Wheel him out. Anyway, it's kind of shitty out here today. And I have not slept. And I would have called in sick, except I don't want Matt Walsh to call me an embarrassment. I really would have called in sick today. I have to sleep. I got no sleep. I think I've said that a couple of times already. I have no sleep. I didn't sleep. Who the hell called me? Don't be calling me. Brentwood, New York. Stop ringing my phone. Stop. What am I saying? Oh, yeah. Stephen is not with us this morning. Ron is not here yet. Maybe they're doing something. Here's what I think. Both of them are married men. Ashley Madison had a hacking. I think they're both desperately trying to cover their tracks before they're exposed as Ashley Madison cheaters. What's going on here? This voicemail just comes up and starts. Wow, that's very cool. I've never seen that happen before. Anyway, so I think that's probably where Stevie and Ron are. They're together, trying to cover up the Ashley. So yeah, so we won't have either of them. It'll be just me and GD today, and it might be a good thing. I tell you why. and I love them both. But Stevie sometimes gets bored. And Ron gets bored too, but Ron just sits there like a stoic, like grump, and just stares at the screen when he gets bored. Stevie starts like, I think I'll do my homework. I think I'll play a video game. I think I'll beat off. Whatever he does, he's like, and visually, it can be a little distracting, especially when I notice it when I'm trying to cut up clips, the short clips that we put out there. It's like, because I don't notice it. I'm focusing on the guest when it's happening. But then I look up and he's just like, I'm bored with this shit. You can tell he's bored with the shit. And I've had a talk with him about this. I said, you can leave. You don't have to sit there. If it's boring the hell out of you, you can leave. And it clearly is boring the hell out of him sometimes. And that's the kind of show we have today. We have the first guy who's going to come on in hour one, if he comes on, is Dr. George Ackerman, who's going to be talking about a foundation he started for Parkinson's awareness, Parkinson's disease awareness. His mom passed away of that, and he's been an advocate and an activist for finding a cure. And that's what we're going to talk about in the first hour. And then in the second hour, Lee Stewart from Australia or New Zealand or somewhere down there on the other side of the flat earth, he's going to be talking about business stuff, sustainability in business. And I know what sustainability means, but I don't know in the context of business discussion what it means. So it could be one of those programs where there'll be very few yucks to be had. No yucks to be had. And then I don't have time for a nap today. This is why I'm stressing out. I have two shows today. One is kind of far away, Long Beach, New York, kind of far away. It's a far away place. Probably about an hour and a half, 45-minute drive from here. And that's this evening at 7 p.m. But before that, I have a facility gig that is like 2:30 to 3:30, which is about an hour away. So I can't. I'm stuck in limbo. I don't drive home and then back another hour and a half. So I'm not going to be able to take my nap. Old man Matt needs a nap. So, and especially when he hasn't slept at all. Am I? Get off my lawn. That's all I just want to say. Is get off my lawn. I'll get through it. I've got myself all full of anxiety. Maybe I don't know. What do I need? I need something. If only there was something that could help me with anxiety or stress or nervousness or any other stuff. If there was just something, I would press a button.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches, we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
My mind bloom. Look at that background. That looks pretty weird. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room now with me is my best friend for the last 37 years. And actually my only friend because everybody else hates me.
Or died.
Mr. H&R Block. or died. HR Block.
Good morning. See, there you right there. Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com.
Bad morning.
Do you lose track of the day of the week? Order your day of the week reminder app. Here, Ron, like this one. Here, Ron Kane remind you that it's Sex Toy Saturday. Or Steven, the sitcom say it's Wee Wee Wacket Wednesday. Hear Matt say, it's trash day. It's trash day. Shit, why didn't somebody say something? MindDogTV.com. Get your app free with $1,000 more, with a purchase of $1,000 or more. Support your local mercenaries.
I'm a little jealous because obviously you have slept.
Actually, no. I was up. I was up late last night and early this morning working on my material for next Friday for the
And
plausible
so was
comedy.
I. I was working on my material. That's the problem. You can't. This is bad. In your youth, it's good to stay up late and work on your material. Once you get to be this age, it's not good for you. It's bad for it's the opposite of not a good is bad. It's bad for you. You need to sleep.
Now say the fact that you thought I'd gotten good sleep, that's just me being a morning person, and I will crash and burn in about 3 hours.
Yeah, you don't have you don't have gigs to go to. I wish I could. This is what I would normally do. I'd publish stuff. I probably smoke a little, to be honest with you, after the show, and then I will take an hour. I plan on like a 45-minute nap, hour nap, and it turns into like 7 hours. So not really. I'm exaggerating, but that's what I would do. That's what I really need to do, but I don't have the opportunity today, and I'm nervous. I'm nervous, and anxiety and stress, and it's also tonight is my first gig with Kat. She's never done a gig before. She does everything in weird keys, like not the record key, and I'm not going to remember any of it.
And you don't use a capo, so it's not like you. Well, actually, you do. Well,
I will use
a capo.
Yeah, I will use a capo tonight.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, because if you use the capo, that might help if you, because if you're not used to using a capo, you may not know, like, okay, capo 3 will let me play everything normal, standard first position chords, and you have to know. You really do have to know how to use a capo.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could really
every American guitar player calls it a capo.
You call it a capo.
Exactly. If you're in the mafia, it's a capo. It's a capo regime. That's where the word comes from. But I'm not a big fan.
The capo just means. I thought capo just meant head.
Top. It means the top.
Top. So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and the funny thing, you don't always put it on. I guess you put it on top of the strings. I guess that's what
it makes it the new top. That's what it is. Wherever you put it. Yeah. But I don't like necessarily playing with a capo because it's I don't want to call it cheating, but like there are certain things where you have guitar riffs and things like that are meant to be played with open strings. It just sounds really weird when it gets too high like that.
Yeah. I don't. The only time I used to use let me see. I used to play in a church group, and they had like 5. It was a folk group for a Catholic church. So it was like 5 guitar players or 6 guitar players, and so with everybody playing in the upper in the standard position, it just kind of got crazy. So I booked capo 7. Every song was capo 7 for me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just
too high.
Well, not when you got like 5 guitar players behind you playing in first position. This was more like it was.
No, I meant you.
High.
You were too high. You're too high.
Oh, well, probably. You should have seen the afro I had then. You ever seen the afro?
See, here's the thing though. Kat, because she sings in her apartment in New York City with an acoustic guitar, is often using head voice, and so to sing the song right, she uses the capo, change keys. She very rarely uses chest voice or really belts out and projects.
Wow. Yeah,
I think she could actually sing all the songs in the correct record key if she were doing that instead of using head voice, and so it will be an experiment tonight. No, I'm mostly nervous about her enjoying the thing, not really worried about how it's going to come off. I don't fucking care. I mean, it's a gig.
But if she's never done a gig before, she could have like gig nerves,
Oh yeah, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, and also the fact that if most of the time she spends performing in her New York apartment, she may not know how to perform without the sound of traffic and construction outside. She may need you to play guitar and go.
Yeah, well, we'll be in Long Beach, New York, so there will be some.
Oh, okay.
Probably gang related stuff and whatever.
Okay, so you may have to relax her by saying, "Okay, here we go." Ready?
I just like to apologize to the people of Long Beach. I shouldn't have said gang related stuff. There's no gangs I'm sorry, Long Beach. I haven't slept. Did I mention I haven't slept? I'm sorry.
That's right. Long Beach does not have gangs; they have organized crime.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Wow. More like Maya Lansky than Joe Colombo. Again, that was a really anti-Semitic thing to say. I'm sorry about that. I haven't slept. The truth comes out when you haven't slept. I'm an anti-Semitic.
Yes, is that what's wrong with Trump? Is that what's wrong with Trump? He just doesn't sleep.
Yeah, no, the Adderall he doesn't sleep. This is definitely the case. He's up tweeting at night. I'm certain that's the case with Trump. He needs more sleep.
Did you hear what he said to the Jewish? I was going to say congregation, to the Jewish.
You must be out of your mind. Yeah, out of your. What did he say? Yeah,
I think he said Meshuggah.
I never heard of this guy Trump. I don't know who you're talking about. Hezbollah is complaining about getting bombed. Their walkie-talkies now are getting bombed or turning into bombs. But that's their game, isn't it? I mean, that's an act. That's how dirty fighting is. What terrorism really is. It's just like, hey, you can't. Well, there are rules to the way we're supposed to fight. No,
so you're supposed to kill us by the Queen's rules,
right? And so they're complaining about something that I think what they're really complaining is about. Why
they didn't think of
that?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's usually what, like when a football team, two football teams are playing, and one coach thinks of this really great play, and the other coach goes, "Bullshit! You can't use that formation, can you? Can you?
Yeah,
fuck."
Now you know about
at least I mean I have to give Hezbollah at least didn't come down to this, because Hezbollah was trying to use technology that Israel couldn't, that the IDF couldn't track. I'm just glad that they weren't using carrier pigeons, because that would have made such a mess. Exploding pigeons all over the country. And then Peter would have gotten involved. ASPCA would have gotten involved. We'd have had all kinds of warfare.
Bad enough when a bird shits on you, but when it gets blown to bits over your head.
And if you're standing next to it, somebody's holding a pigeon to their ear, and you're standing over there. Yeah.
Where is Hezbollah located? I mean, do they have a official headquarters, a building?
Well, like most corporations, their corporate office is in Delaware, like most corporations. but their unofficial headquarters is Iran, because that's where the CFO lives. Iran. The CFO is Iran, and their CSO is in Lebanon.
Wow. I thought, basically you don't even I hate to say this because it just sounds like I know what I'm talking about. That if you're in something like that, you don't admit it really exists. You like the mafia doesn't really, for years and years, didn't exist until the Godfather came out, and then they started admitting it exists.
And then they were everywhere.
Yeah,
including places that there were no Italians. They had mafias. They just changed the name.
Hezbollah should read the mafia handbook, but the thing is, there's no book. But they should read the rules of you don't talk about Fight Club. The first rule is you don't admit it exists. God.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we got to put out an official statement. You people don't know. You're amateur terrorists. Amateur.
Yeah. Well, that's because the mafia was a business. They weren't terrorists. They were a business. And they always kept saying, and that was their motto: it's not personal, it's business. That was their motto.
I know his father in the olive oil business.
Yeah, falling off the truck business.
Olive oil falls off trucks.
So mafia was a business. That's why they didn't, after everything, they didn't go, we stole that truck. No, it was like, no, it's business. It was never personal. But Hezbollah is personal. It's not business.
Right. Do you know why Ron Kane is not here today?
Yes. He sent out a universal code called the text to everybody.
Not me.
But you ignored it because you said, don't text me again, or I'll rip your hair out.
Oh, did he actually send it to me and I just didn't pay attention?
I believe he did, yeah. And so But he's got things to get. He's got packing and stuff to do. He's got preparations for his trip to New York.
Sounds like a good lie. He made up a good lie.
Believable.
I'm going to call Matt Walsh and see if this counts as calling in sick, because he should be embarrassed. I suspect.
But Ron didn't call in sick. He texted in sick. See, I think there may be a loophole.
I gotta. You know what? I gotta get in touch with Matt Walsh and just like rip his beard off his face and shove it up his nose, and then ask him if texting is a loophole.
Yeah, because see, some people call it. See, this is the thing, and I asked this to strangers, literally to strangers. If I'm bored and I'm sitting outside and people walk by, and say, "Excuse me, do you call in to work sick or call out to work sick?" And some people call in, some people call out. And so maybe Matt's thing is that you're a pussy if you call in, but if you call out, that's the way to do it.
I'm of the opinion that the UK people are call outers and America is call inners. But I've very rarely heard an American use the term call out, but I've been around lots of English people who say call out. Yeah, they say call out. Americans say call in.
I hear it both ways in America, and even in Carroll County, which is not a very diverse.
Must be a Maryland thing. Maryland and the UK.
Well, that's why I asked people. I asked people when I was on a cruise ship because they're from all over the world on a cruise ship, and I got different answers. I honestly do not have enough anecdotal evidence to say which region or which race or which culture says in and which one says out. Some are innies, some are outies.
I stand erected on all of this. Then I was wrong. It's not a UK versus United States thing. It is a worldwide global phenomenon that we must get a better. Let's start. Call Congress. We want to investigate this right now.
And what I want to know is, do people have a choice as the way to do it? Because when we're young, we don't have choices between innies and outies. We don't. Maybe the parents, but we don't have a say. And maybe it's the same way with calling in. Are you an innie or an outie? I think it's worth, finding out.
That's true. Dr. George Ackerman is late, and if I would have known he was going to be late, I would have probably texted in or out or something. Sleepy. But
I could call that's one of my first questions to him: is he an innie or an outie?
My suspicion is that Ron is part of this Ashley Madison League. And that's a true story. Because what does it take to pack to go to Rochester, New York? Cortland. He's going to Cortland tonight. It takes like 5 minutes to pack. You pack your fucking toothbrush, your dildo, or whatever his
plugs, your plugs, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, really, he's going to Cortland. It's you don't need. Well, I mean, really, a change of clothes, maybe a change of a diaper. I don't know. So, what do you know about this Ashley Madison thing? Do you know anything?
You're talking about it. It's my first time hearing about it.
Oh, Ashley Madison, as you may be aware, you may not be aware.
Well, I know what the group is. I don't know. I didn't know they'd been hacked.
Somebody somebody hacked them and released a lot of information about who's on the list. Prominent Republican conservative Chris Rufo, I'm sorry, is on there. He's turns out this is one of these guys who was a hardcore MAGA guy. He's got an illegal immigrant wife that he's been cheating on with like 1,400 women or something on Ashley Madison. And it turns out that they're saying now it's like the Epstein list. They're saying there's a lot of prominent Republicans on that list. Oh, what a shocker. But they haven't released a lot of the names on there yet. But I'm suspecting Ron Kane will be on there. Ron Kane has been cheating with Stephen Ortiz. They hooked up on Ashley Madison. And that's why they're frantically panicking today. You know this guy, Mark Robinson, North Carolina?
Oh, yes. Personally.
Yeah. it's just funny that he's got this trans porn fetish. I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I guess they're trans porn sites, right?
I'm assuming. See. This is where we miss. This is where we miss the young ones because they are the porn aficionados.
Yeah.
And
so apparently, like 7 or 8 years ago, he was on there on a trans porn site and called him. He said, there's nothing wrong with slavery. I'd like to own a few people. I'm a black Nazi.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say that was the one sentence. That was like multiple sentences. Right? That was
yeah.
Because if it was just the one sentence, you can kind of forgive him because like, it was an accident. You know, it was an accident. I didn't mean to say that sentence, but he said it so many times over so many.
To try to dig himself out of this, first of all, he's saying it's a deep state operation, and they're coming to get me, just like Clarence Thomas. I was like, wow, Clarence Thomas, you might not want to compare yourself to Mr. Pubic Hair on the Coke can if you're trying to get out of a sex scandal thing. I would probably think that you could find one black guy other than Clarence Thomas to compare yourself to if you want to.
Well, I mean, after all, Trump did compare him to Martin Luther King Jr. So there's two black guys he's being compared to, right?
Right. All right. Fair enough.
That's
but we'll see if more comes out about him. I'm wondering how
the NAACP has asked him to drop out of the race. And they don't get involved in politics.
Right.
NAACP just want whoever to win to just leave us the fuck alone. That's it.
He's saying he's not gonna, even though
he can't.
Trump asked him to. I think yesterday was his last
midnight this morning.
Yeah.
Was the deadline. And so, okay, he can drop out of the race any fucking time he wants. His name is not coming off of the ballot.
Right, his name will be on the ballot. Well, I don't think that hurts. Well, because they all endorsed him, right? Trump endorsed him, said he's one of the finest, a better person than Martin Luther King Jr., which is.
Well, he said he was Martin Luther King on steroids, and I have my own definition of that. My definition is that Martin Luther King Jr. was known to be a philanderer. He slept around, so. Compared to Martin Luther King Jr., he is Martin Luther King Jr. on steroids. This man's a super freak, super freak.
There is a lesson here, and the lesson is don't go on fucking crazy porn sites and leave stupid messages, and don't go on Ashley Madison cheating. I mean, obviously, if you do that, sooner or later somebody's gonna find out about it.
That's not the lesson I get from this. The lesson I get from this is very simple. When you run for office, run as who you are, not who you want people to think you are. If you are a freak and a pervert, run as a freak and a pervert, because the shit's going to come out and they're going to find out you're a freak and a pervert.
That's kind of what I was saying, but I was saying it in a way that, you know what, you shouldn't do things in secret because somebody's going to find out. I mean,
yes. When my little girl was old enough to understand these things, that's one of the things I told her. To look, whatever you do in life, pretend. I said, there's no such thing as a secret. Pretend somebody knows. Regardless, whatever you're doing, pretend that somebody's going to find out. Whatever you're doing, if you don't want somebody to find out that you're doing it, don't do it. Plain and simple.
I'm wondering how they found out about this trans porn thing, though. Like somebody, because.
He used his real name. The thing is, he used his profile. He didn't change his profile. I think it's like Little General or Little Soldier or some kind of bullshit, something military sound. I don't know what the thing was. So
the lesson is always pulls out. That's what Mr. Tongue says.
You mean the race?
But so did they hack the trans porn fetish? It's a weird thing.
I don't think they had to hack it. I honestly don't think they had to hack it. I think it was there it is. I think that somebody just found it.
You said here it is, like you're. Oh, I found the trans porn
Oh
fetish
no,
site.
I have a wireless mouse. I have a wireless mouse, and sometimes it disappears, and I have to like do this to find the cursor. And I couldn't find the cursor.
Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
see, yeah,
hey,
see.
it's Joe List and Mark Norman are on the trans porn fetish site. I can't. Oh, that's this is just Twitter. I'm sorry.
It's like he used the handle that he used was like he has like one or two handles, and he uses one handle over it again, and he used it there.
So, but that means if what you're saying is they just found out because they had to go on the site. So somebody was just like browsing the site and say, "Hey, Mark Robinson, that's his first name, right? Mark."
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the same. But in order to out the guy, you're outing yourself at the same time for being on that website, right?
Well, it's possible. It's also possible that somebody's on the site anyway, and not everybody on that site is a Republican. I'm pretty sure there's a few Democrats on the site. They see it, they recognize them, they go, "I'm sending this to the press. I'm waiting. This is going to be my October surprise or my late September surprise." They wait, and I mean, it's not like or maybe he told the wrong person.
See,
maybe he's sitting at
here's
the
where it
bar.
gets confusing for me. Now, not about Mark Robinson. I mean, these guys just a hypocrite. I think most people who protest too much and want to outlaw what goes on in your bedroom are definitely hiding the fact that they are exactly who they're, whatever, the Lindsey Grahams of the world. But here's where it gets trans porn sites. Now, what we're hearing about in when the trans discussion comes up is they make up such a small percentage of the population that people are freaking out over, I don't know, 3% of the population. In order to have enough of them to fill up a porn site, though, are you saying that every one of those 3% are involved in porn? I mean, that's a weird.
Well, that's just it. There are probably people who are curious, trans curious, so they haven't had the operations, or like you said, they're just they.
No, I mean the stars.
The stars.
Yeah, so I'm thinking because if the population is that small, I mean, you could see like in regular porn, we have 340 million people. That's like 170 million women. You could see that there's a big pool to choose from to get your stars.
Oh, gotcha.
Where are they getting all these trans porn stars from?
Imports. If you do your casting call worldwide, you cast a worldwide net, you can probably get up to 70 people. No, you could probably get into thousands.
Wow. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. The Ashley Madison thing will probably blow up bigger it's like the Epstein thing. We didn't see the Epstein list for more than 2 years after he got Epsteined.
Yeah, and the thing is, Epstein was the physical thing. You had to kind of like go there to be substantially.
You're locking up, freezing up. I think the deep state heard you say Epstein. And they went, wait. And
yeah. Well, we were both going black spring with the curly thing.
Either that, or you were getting a text from Ashley Madison at the time. Your data has been breached.
I have no doubt. Actually, listen. Run who I am.
Yep, you're all Wi-Fi'd out. Somebody is tapping into your Wi-Fi. Oh, that's gotta hurt. So we'll see. Now I'm concerned. Speaking of Epstein, I'm concerned that Diddy is going to get Epsteined. Like because as I talked about in the last couple of days, I think he's probably going to be offered a deal to give up people who he had as a client list. I don't know, client list, is that a proper way of describing it? People he sex trafficked to, probably going to be offered a deal to give some of those people up, just like Epstein. A lot of powerful people are not going to want him to be able to do that. So we could see Diddy's gone. Diddy. I'm trying to think of a D word for disappeared. Diddy disappeared.
There's a D word for disappear. Disappear.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a possibility. You never know. Election day is 47 days away. This is also adding to my stress. Did you see Harris do a sit down with Oprah?
Yeah, I watched a good chunk of it.
You did?
Yeah.
I watched about 6 minutes of it, and I was just saying, what would the Republican response to this be? The not even the Republican, the Trumplican response to be. And it seems like what I got from it was Oprah really wanted to help her.
Yes.
And, almost like don't wait for her to answer. I'm going to tell her how I wanted to answer this thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? I want Harris to win, but I think that's a bad tactic. Let her answer it on her own. I'm confident that she would have the right answers on her own. She might take a little while. She might start with when I grew up. My mother, who had worked 9 jobs.
Oprah was definitely leading the witness, as Kamala would say in a court of law. She was leading the witness, but Kamala's answers didn't change much from the way she talks.
No, that's what I mean. Just let her do it. And without Oprah doing that, it would come off much cleaner. Because I have every confidence that she would answer it. You know what? My wife has a real tough time with me saying this. I think Harris is the most competent politician, presidential candidate in my lifetime, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, to me, I am more than impressed with her ability to know what the job takes, to do the homework and be ready to do it when the time comes. And because watching her in those confirmation hearings, I wrote a letter to her in 2016. I said, please run. This is exactly what we need. I will come off as a Keith Olbermann type of, I feel a drip going down my leg or whatever he said when Obama got. I do think the time is right for America to have a woman president, and I've worked for a lot of female CEOs, and I'm not saying one is better than the other or any of that stuff. That would be just as bad as saying men are better than women, to say women are better. But I think a competent woman who is a good boss sends a message to everyone that, it's time to start treating people for what they do and what they bring to the table, not by race, not by gender, or any of that stuff. It's what they are capable of, and she seems awfully capable. I mean, I never thought in my lifetime I would see a representative of such competence actually in the political sphere.
I agree with you, and I think that women, I'm not going to say are better. I think they bring something different to the table, and that's another thing we really need. We really need the sensibility of someone who can bring something different from the table, and not the sausage fest that we've had, because the testosterone has gotten us to a lot of wars and a lot of that we could have avoided.
Yeah, and you know what? Because Trump came out yesterday and said he wished he would have. Not yesterday. After the Long Island rally, he went to Fox, and he was on the comedian show, the Greg Gutfeld thing, and he was saying he wished he would have been more attacking at the ABC moderators or hosts or whatever. And that's a male thing. You would never see a woman say, "I wish I would have bullied him a little bit more."
Well, he also probably wished that the crowd hadn't cheered so loud, because that threw him off his game.
That's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, the crowd cheering for Trump probably threw him off his game. I as a performer, I'm used to some applause. In my 10 years, I've had 2 standing ovations. Okay, and that kind of throws me off for my next thing. I get standing ovation. I'm like, because I'm not used to that. I'm used to applause, laughter, standing ovations. 2. Yeah. I'm not used to it.
And by the way, George Ackerman is not here. He was a reschedule. Dr. George Ackerman. He was a reschedule it's supposed to be on in August sometime, or maybe even July, rescheduled for today. Now he's like a half hour late. the foundation
or he's early for his next reschedule.
That could be. I tried looking at my email really quick while we were talking. He might have emailed me saying, I don't know, can't get on or something. Whatever. I'm a little bit relieved, to be honest with you, but also I wish I would have known, because I probably would have called you and said, you know what, maybe I'll call in, I'll text in, I'll text out, I'll call out sleepy, but whatever, we're here. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
Well, I think text in is the masculine, text out is the feminine, and textile is the gender neutral version.
All right. Well, Together for Sharon. We're not together for Sharon. We are, TT and I are together. George, who is the founder of Together for Sharon, is not together. He didn't get it together, George. Dr. George.
I had all of these Parkinson jokes I was going to use too. They're not mine. They're actually Ron's jokes. Ron's mother has Parkinson's.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. And so and Ron does like 27 Parkinson jokes about Parkinson's.
Well, I was really curious to ask him about this, like what causes Parkinson's, because like Ali, as in Muhammad Ali, they say that he got it from getting punched in the head too much. But Michael J. Fox didn't get punched in the head all that much, not that we know of. So do you know what really caused? I'm asking you, like you're Dr. Ackerman, Dr. Fenderson.
Yes.
What causes Parkinson's disease?
Well, actually, it's technically it's not a disease. It's actually just a drinking disorder. And I think if people would just stop drinking, it's caused by martinis. Okay. Before martinis, we didn't have Parkinson's. Okay, then James Bond comes along and he says shaken, not stirred, and that is the basis of all Parkinson's. It's martinis, shaken.
Yeah, just hold on 1 second here. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. I feel a little better.
I'm pretty sure we can trace it back to James Bond and shaken, not stirred. I'm almost positive.
It's kind of weird. Like you can't really think about a cure until you know what causes it, and maybe doctors know more than lay people, but all the lay people say it was caused by, or in Ali's case, by getting punched in the head, too many concussions. Probably Ken Norton.
Well, that's because
you call it Norton's disease.
Well, the thing is that when Ali got it, they knew less about it, so they're just grasping at straws. Like what does Muhammad Ali have? What have we seen in Muhammad Ali's life that could cause this?
Yeah. Well, that's true. We're just like looking at what we saw and just like assuming that it was getting punched in the broken jaw for 15 rounds. It might have had something to do with it. I'm sure it caused something, whether it's Parkinson's disease or not. Flinching.
Now, my Aunt Helena, when she was known for being very, very quick on the draw when it comes to slapping children. And I mean, very quick on the draw, and so there are a number of now, I was never one of the kids that she had the pleasure of hitting or smacking, but my brother Ralph was, and when he was younger, she'd like whack him like it was. So it was a few years ago before he died, but this is before he died. We're at a cookout at my house. And he was 50, he was in his 50s. And he had said something smart ass. Because we don't cuss around my Aunt Helena. We're grown people. No one cusses around my Aunt Helena to this day. And she's in her 90s. We don't cuss around her. But he said something a little off color. And he knew back in the day he'd have gotten slapped by her. And she reached for her napkin like this. And my brother flinched. And he was like 55 years old. And he still flinched.
No, I wanted to flinch just thinking about it. Like, oh yeah, every time, like she'd go to like brush her hair back or something, or
yes.
whatever.
Yeah, she just reached and he flinched, and I just bust out laughing because that's trauma right there. That's
See,
trauma.
that's the wrong thing to do. You bust out laughing, you're going to get it now.
Oh no, I know. Look, I laugh because it's funny.
Four seats away.
And yes, I was full. Yeah, I was in the safe zone. But last year she was at a cookout. We're having a family cookout, and I had said something. I was standing right next to her, and she's in her 90s, and she hauled up and hit me in the arm, and I went, "Damn!" I said, I can see why you scare people." Yeah. She still hits hard.
My Aunt Molly was tough like that. She was like a man. She could definitely hit hard. I'm going to tell you something that you're going to swear is bullshit. Like, if somebody told me this, I would say, this is just making this up. This guy's exaggerating. My father once threw a hamburger at my brother's head. My brother ducked, and it took out the entire kitchen window with a hamburger. Burger King, Whopper, threw it at his head. He ducked. He threw it so hard, a hamburger, it broke 2 wooden kitchen windows in a house, knocked them out. It sounds like bullshit as I'm saying it, but I want to call my brother and verify it. It's like,
no, believe me, actually I believe you because you tell it the same way. You have not altered a fact. It's not like you said. Not like you said. Wait a minute, Whopper's not going to do it. I'm going to say Big Mac. No, quarter pounder. No, not quarter pounder. How about it was a Subway sandwich? You
would think. It's because I talk about this with the World Trade Center stuff. You would think
that a hamburger would not have taken out the World Trade Center.
Yeah, well, you would think the windows, the burger would give before the windows, and I think the plane would give. When you see a plane crashing right through the World Trade Center, you would think, well, those are steel buildings. You would think the aluminum can flying in the air would squish up and fall rather than go through steel buildings. You would think the hamburger would just like give way to the sturdy wood and all the stuff that's holding the window in. The hamburger would just be the thing to break, not the window.
When I was in elementary school, we were watching. I think it was 6th grade. We were watching a movie about hurricanes, and one of the things that I remember is that they had a straw, and they had the straw, and he blew it with hurricane force winds, and it stuck into a watermelon. And they were saying that the lamest of things, or the weakest, the softest of things with enough velocity can become a weapon. So,
become a weapon against what though? Against human flesh? Sure, I could see that, but against steel or wood, a hamburger against wood, I would bet on the wood every time. And I'd be wrong.
Termites.
Yeah. Now, but if my brother had not ducked, this is the question that's been lingering for almost 60 years now, because I was very smart. Well, he had no head. He would have took his head off. I think the wood is stronger than a human head, so he would have been decapitated by a burger. We'd be Alan Edwards, a man in Long Island, New York, decapitated his son with a big Whopper. Whopper.
I have to address this. Ian is saying that jet fuel cannot melt steel. Okay, see right there, and it doesn't have to melt it. All it has to do is compromise it. That's all it's got to do is compromise. The building will collapse under the weight.
I am not a physicist or really know about these things, but there have been enough architects who have debunked all this nonsense about the jet fuel not being like the theories that they put out there were not correct. I'm not saying the government told us the truth about it, but I don't go to that idea of controlled demolition stuff. I don't know.
No, it's not. No, it's not a controlled demolition. The way the plane hit it, sure. The way people plan, the way people do,
what happened to Building 7? is a lot of ash and a lot of debris fell on top of it that was burning. So it seemed like a far reach if you just if you're not there. But if you had been there, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but I had been there. I was there. I had a crew there when the towers were bombed in 1993. Had a crew in the atrium. We were doing sound for a show in the Winter Garden atrium there. I was there a lot. Building 7 was not that far away where I definitely believe there were burning embers falling on top of it that whole time. Again, I don't know what happened. I'm not going to say what happened. I'm not a physicist. I'm not an architect. I'm not a construction expert by any means. I'm not even a construction novice by any means. But I don't think I think the government lied to us. The commission did not give us the full story about all of it. I'm not, why even bother going through the drama if you're just going to take it down? Why not just say terrorists put bombs in the building? It's much, you don't have to waste all those lives it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to turn this into the Alex Jones program.
No, my question, Matt, it's a logical follow-up question as far as I'm concerned. When you were a child, were you a Lego man, Lincoln Logs, a Rector set? What was your building toy of choice?
Nothing.
Really? No wonder you don't know anything about the Building 7.
I don't remember ever playing with any of those fucking toys. I had a very strange childhood. That goes without saying. But I don't know. I was mobile, very mobile. My big thing was just getting on a bike and going places. Because when I grew up, I don't know. My parents either did not give a fuck about me, or maybe times were different and there weren't dangers for you. But I remember, traveling quite a bit, even as a very young child, traveling distances. I would take my bike and I'd 20, 30 miles away from home at a very young age, 5, 6, 7 even. And I'm sure I was going places, or even at 3 and 4, that were definitely a mile away, 2 miles away on my own. I was a wanderlust kid.
I did that with my bicycle. Evil Ian was a rich child. He comes from a family of means. Because when I asked you if you were
both.
Yeah, both. Yeah. That's
spoiled brat. No wonder he grew up evil. The spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Evil, if you ever want to come on the program and express your Alex Jones theories about this, you're welcome to, or anything. If you ever just want to pop in, we'll let you come on and talk about all this stuff. It's probably easier than texting. No pressure here. I'm not saying you have to.
He's probably at work. He's probably at work, and you can't.
I think his work is I think he like Daily High Club's main guy. They outsource it all to him. He does glass
testing.
Yeah, he does glass art. Is what he does. He blows glass, and I you know what? I'm not glass. I'm not glass, but he could blow me. But no, he does good work with this stuff. If you've seen his work, and probably, I don't want to say better than Daily High Club because they're a sponsor, but he does really, really fine glass work. So, but I don't know if he has a job.
When I was in Seattle, I went to the museum, and I don't know this guy's name. He's like famous for his glass sculptures. Matter of fact, he doesn't even do them anymore. He has teams of people who does the work for him, and he has one eye. I'm giving these descriptions so that anybody who knows what I'm talking about can just text the name Ian. But he's got one eye. He does all this beautiful glass architecture and structures that he does. It's really, he's really good, and the people he uses are really good now. But he's
just
got a museum.
A giveaway here that I have never met him is that he has one eye, because if I met him, I'd take the other. So
his museum is across from the Space Needle. At least one of his museums. He has another museum in Florida, and I cannot remember the guy's name. And I just spent money seeing his stuff. The artwork is beautiful. I just don't remember his name.
Chi-Hu Lee. Chi-Hu Lee.
Yeah, yes, Chuli. Yes, that's him. Thank you. Yes, that's him. That's the name.
Wow. Yes, I don't know. We got onto the Alex Jones stuff by Burger Physics. Burger against window physics. I really want to call my brother, but I know I can't put the phone in. I've been stalling on getting a new system here that is made for taking phone calls.
Now, what was the dimensions of the window, of the panes? Were they like standard size panes, or were they like a big,
it was
2 foot by 2 foot?
It was before Anderson. It was like in the early suburb days when the windows you got were stock. Came at the house. All the houses were the same. In the
they were
suburbs.
like 8 inches by a foot or something like that.
Yeah. But it was.
I'm thinking we could recreate it. We can look, because I'm due for a trip up there. I'm up one weekend, and we'll go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and we'll get like panes of glass, and we will go to Burger King. Although we don't have the 1970s burgers, so we won't have what they used back then. But we could use a modern burger and see how hard we have to throw it from like 4 feet or 5 feet or whatever the distance is. We can and we'll put your brother in there and see if your brother, if he doesn't duck, what happens to him.
3 feet. I got to get my brother on the phone and talk about this shit. Because he was sitting my brother was sitting against the wall. My father was sitting, at the end of the table, just like by him, like at the corner. So it basically would be right here. I mean, so it wasn't far at all. And I was young at the time, but I kind of remember my brother like being like traumatized by it. I was too small. I thought I was just in awe. I remember that part of it. Just like couldn't believe that the window just got blown out.
There's one other theory, Matt, and you can poo-poo this if you want. What if your father grabbed a knife and the burger and threw them?
This is why I want to call my brother, because I mentioned this to Kelly the other night. Like, our memories can be flawed. Things that we tell ourselves over and over again, the stories of our lives. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I was a little kid, so there's always that possibility that I'm totally fucking wrong here.
Kelly Clarkson? When you were talking to Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wonder if I could do this. I'm just like being fucking crazy now.
For those of you who are audio only, Matt is playing with cords, not guitar cords, regular wire cords with copper in the middle.
Yeah, this won't do it. I can't hook the phone up with this.
Okay, he's trying to figure how to. That's what it is. He's trying to figure out. He's trying to merge 1980 technology with 2024 technology.
Right.
So
that's exactly what I was doing. Let me see. I'm going to type speakerphone in it and see if I can get it loud enough here. No, not mute. What's the audio? Speaker.
Okay. So while Matt is doing that, and while Matt is trying to,
can you hear that?
I can hear a faint ringing.
Hey, I'm just telling the story about Dad throwing a burger at your head and taking out a window. Now, GD just suggested that maybe he grabbed like some silverware along with the burger. It was just a pure burger, right? Nothing else in there.
It was a Whopper, to be exact.
A Whopper. You heard that?
Because I wanted McDonald's and Mom brought home Burger King.
Now it took the full window out, right? I mean, basically we had. And we're just the physics of it. We were kind of like trying to figure out how a burger could actually take out.
A Whopper rolled up is heavy, and it's got a lot of mass to it.
He took the time to roll it up. No.
I'm at work putting frozen pizzas on the shelf. I gotta go.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Damn, I had a question about his teeth, because I want to know how strong his teeth were if he was eating a Whopper at that age and his teeth could bite through a Whopper, but that Whopper could go through a glass.
Yeah, I don't know.
I say we recreate the experiment. We'll find out how much a because the quarter pound Whopper back then was all beef. I don't know if they're still all beaf or not.
I have to talk to him on Sunday. I have a call with him after church, after the church of last resort every Sunday. I will, because he's at work right now. I forgot he's working. Who the hell works when they're 72 years old and that fucking
Wait a minute, he's 72 years old, has 9 forms of cancer, and he's still working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking crazy, right? I would not do it.
Is he working at the Cancer Institute or something? I'm just curious.
He's working in a grocery store stocking shelves.
Okay, I did hear him say he was stocking shelves, and I thought that was a euphemism for something.
No. He's at the point in his life like he wants to keep working, but he doesn't want to learn. He won't want to take anything that requires any real skill. So
right, like comedy. Tell him to do comedy.
He thinks he does comedy because
at work.
No, at AA meetings. Right. Now, almost everybody who speaks at AA thinks they're doing stand-up comedy. I guess it gets boring after a while telling the same old, I ended up in the gutter blowing fucking 9 guys or something.
But they'll never get famous because it's anonymous.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But on the other hand, you can steal a bunch of material. You can leave AA, steal all this material, and they won't come after you because they have to remain anonymous.
Right. All right, let's go to.
I'm joining AA. I'm joining AA next week.
It's good. It's a good place to practice. Listen, go fake an alcoholism just to get some stage time to work on your act. It's not a bad.
I just say I'm suffering issues from when my mother in my family. I come from a family of like drug abusers and alcohol.
Yeah, well, that would be Al-Anon, not alcohol. The other one, the one where you have a family member. There is a whole separate.
Yeah, I did the Al-Anon thing.
Yeah,
I wasn't very funny there.
All right, let's listen to news while we wonder if the next guest come. Watch if they both come on at the same time.
Harvey Weinstein has entered a not guilty plea to a new indictment charging him with a criminal sex act in the first degree.
He appeared in a Manhattan courtroom in a wheelchair, dressed in a black suit, white shirt, and tie.
The
former film producer faces charges in the new indictment based on the accusations of a woman who alleges he sexually assaulted her in 2006 at a Manhattan hotel. Additionally, Weinstein is charged in a prior indictment with criminal sexual act in the first degree and rape in the third degree. Liam White reporting.
A series of new explosions involving Hezbollah communication devices has resulted in at least 9 fatalities and over 300 injuries.
This follows a pager attack from the previous day that left 12 dead and more than 2,800 injured. Hezbollah indicated that the new explosions targeted walkie-talkies used by its members. A senior Hezbollah security source described the small explosions as being similar to the previous pager attacks. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The United Nations General Assembly has passed a resolution on urging Israel to end its occupation of Palestinian territory, as reported by new sources.
This symbolic United Nations resolution calls for Israel to bring to an end without delay its unlawful presence in the occupied Palestinian territory, with a timeline of 12 months for compliance. The resolution was adopted with 124 votes in favor, 14 against, and 43 abstentions. The United States opposed the resolution, while countries like Canada, Australia, Italy, Germany, Britain, and Ukraine were among those abstaining. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Atlantic City Mayor Marty Small Sr. and his wife, Laqueta, the city's superintendent of schools, have been indicted on charges of child endangerment and other offenses.
Prosecutors allege that the couple repeatedly beat their teenage daughter. The Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office announced that a grand jury indicted the pair on charges of child endangerment. Marty Small also faces charges of assault and making terroristic threats, Lawrence Keller reporting.
A man, his wife, and her 13-year-old son were discovered shot to death death at their home in Vermont, state police reported, as authorities search for a suspect.
Officers were responding to a call about a suspicious person, according to Vermont State Police. The investigation led them to a residence in the town of Paulette, where they found the 3 individuals deceased. The victims were identified on Tuesday as Brian Crossman Sr., 46, a Paulette government official, his wife, Erica Crossman, 41, and her son, Colin Taft, 13. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Los Angeles County is reporting 3 locally acquired dengue cases this year, which is unusual for the area, while nationally there have been at least 3,085 locally acquired cases so far this year.
This information comes from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The number of locally acquired dengue cases has roughly doubled nationally compared to last year, according to the CDC. The majority of these cases are from Puerto Rico, which has reported over 2,960 incidents. Kyle Norris reported.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
I'm sorry. Did you get what disease is this? Dengue. What is it? I don't know it.
It's I don't know either, but they got a lot of it they say the Philippines?
I don't know. 3 cases in LA. There's usually 3,000 cases nationally. What's the glass mouth do? What the glass mouth do? I forgot to ask you. I forgot to ask you, brother.
Okay. Well, I did know it was mosquito-borne. It says dengue is dengue is a mosquito-borne illness that occurs in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Mild dengue fever causes a high fever and flu-like symptoms. The severe form of dengue fever needs you to pay more and subscribe. Dang.
Do you die? It's not deadly, right?
No, I have to subscribe to find out if I did.
That sounds like extortion.
The severe form of dengue fever, also called dengue hemorrhagic fever, can cause serious bleeding, a sudden drop in blood pressure, and death.
No, just to answer Ian's question, the Whopper was fresh. We didn't freeze Whoppers. I don't know if anybody ever does. Freeze a Whopper, that would suck. I mean, because you never can freeze bread and get it back to the bread state. Every time you freeze bread, it's just like, it becomes crystallized, whatever it is.
Nowadays you can, because when I buy bread in advance and I freeze it. But of course, I don't buy white bread. I don't buy that white shit. This is a black family. I buy healthy bread.
So your white replacement theory for bread, for the bread people or bread community.
I have not purchased white bread since I was a teenager. I started buying my own bread when I was 14 years old.
I got beat up, not beat up physically. I got verbally attacked by a woman who came to my apartment and saw that I had white bread. Man. It's like, what's wrong with you? You know, I processed it. It's not that bad for you. Like, come on, man. Don't be a diet Nazi. I buy shit that is quick, easy, and convenient for bachelors who can't cook.
To be honest, it is really, really hard to replace white bread when it comes to French toast. Although I use Hawaiian bread now for French toast. I don't use white bread for French toast. I use Hawaiian bread.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And
made with real Mauna Loa, or made on the slopes of the Mauna Loa volcano by people who are not white bread.
Yes, I use Hawaiian bread and egg bread for French toast, mainly Hawaiian bread.
Yeah, so I'll have to get my brother Fred on the program at some point. His name is not Fred. That's my I don't know.
Pen name for him?
I'm channeling Don Imus used to have his brother Fred on the radio all the time. My brother Fred from the Autobot Express in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And then Fred had a dog they called Four-Legged Fred. So, yeah.
Well, Liberace had a brother. What was his brother? Ralph? George. I wish my brother George was here. Right. I wish my brother George was here.
Yeah. So the I remember. See, I'll get
my brother Mike on the phone someday when he's not stocking shelves. But the way I remember it is he was complaining about onions, the size of the onions on the Whopper or something, too many onions. And my father was mad that he was complaining at all, like, you ungrateful son of a. Oh. And so I never complained about it. I was a little kid. I never complained about anything ever for the rest of the time. Like, oh, yeah, complaining will get your head taken off by a shooting Whopper.
I never learned those lessons. Actually, I learned how to complain differently. Because when I had to learn at a young age that you don't come up with a problem, but you bring suggest a solution at the same time. So I learned that as a child. So by the time I got into the business world and I go into to my manager or something, I didn't just say I have a problem. I'd have solutions ready at the ready. And so I did, as far as a black guy could, move up the ladder. I moved up the ladder as far as a black guy could in those industries.
I wonder if my brother was hip enough to install a suggestion box at that time.
He would have just signed your name to all of the things. Why are you hitting me?
Well, reading Kelly's book, there are stories in there that remind me of my own life, and I started to think, some of these, if hearing this stuff, I could see it. I totally get how some people can hear the stories I tell and think, well, that's just bullshit. And I start to think about myself, and then I started to think, what if I am wrong about this? Because my brother does not remember them losing me at the Santa Anita racetrack and me ending up with a Chinese family. First time he heard about that was one of his friends who listens to this program went and said, what's this? Your brother got lost at a racetrack and was missing for a week. And my brother's like, I don't know. And then he called me. He was like, what are you saying on the radio? I was like, yeah, that was a story my mother and father told me 1,000 times. And I've been repeating it all my life. And this is the kind of, I base my identity around these stories that I tell that have never been really independently verified. So I don't know.
When my sister died, I think let me see, she was born in 52. I was born in 59. So she was about 7 years older than I am.
It's my brother. My brother is 52, a 52 baby.
Yeah. So, and as a result, there are some memories that I didn't have directly that I only had because she remembered them.
Right.
And when she died, she took those memories with her. And that's one of the things when I was at her funeral, I said about my sister, that when she died, a part of me died with her, literally, because I don't remember those things. She remembers them and she took them with her.
We need to, now, this is where Elon is not totally a dick with this Neuralink thing. We need to be able to download those things into a portable hard drive to keep around for a reference when we need them. That would be a good thing. If we had that for the past, we would not be so confused about the real history of the planet and people.
Well, except the fact that we would need a time machine and that, so we can go back and then say, okay, King George, what were you really crazy? Let's find out if King George was really crazy, as crazy as he's portrayed in Hamilton, because I like that King George in Hamilton. Lie to lie. That's it.
Yeah, all that stuff. Graham Hancock. You know who Graham Hancock is? He's a guy. He's a guy who's named after a cracker who has his cock in his hand.
Okay, I thought it was John Hancock's cousin, Graham.
I shouldn't even say jokes like that, and I know it wasn't a funny joke, but it was just a stupid thing to say about somebody who I want to get on the program, because if they ever hear it, they'll be like, fuck that guy. He's a guy who believes that the history of mankind is not what we've been led to believe, that there was an advanced civilization and an Armageddon that happened in the past in humanity, and he's written several books about that. And he
But when I watch him, I just think he comes off as just another Atlantis guy or another Joe Rogan, the moon landing never happened. It's just like hard to really take it as if he's being a scientist rather than a fanboy who wants to prove the idea he got in his head. But I definitely would like to talk to him about what do you got? What do you got? So our second guest is not sure. I could have fucking slept. Now this is really I'm gonna be thinking about this all day. I could have fucking slept.
Yeah, you could let me by myself do this by myself all day long.
Right. Hancock loves Atlantis. Is that and aliens? I did not know that. Seems like Ian knows a lot about everything. You know that? Have you noticed that, Ian? No matter what we talk about, Ian knows something about it.
Because he works in a group home, and so he just reaches over and says, "Hey guys, what do you got about Hancock? No, not Herbie, not Herbie. No, not John. No, yeah, that. Oh, yeah. He loves Atlantis and small puppies and walks on the beach and aliens."
An alien. Now let's test Ian's knowledge. Ian, do you know about Lumpy Scoop? You don't, do you?
That's
Lumpy
my favorite.
Scoop.
That's my favorite flavor at Baskin Robbins.
Lumpy Scoop actually happened to sell the best viewers. How do we know?
They all say they sell the best viewers.
Right. And how do you know what's a good viewer? Somebody who just sits there and keeps their mouth shut and just that's a good viewer, or a good viewer is a real person instead of a bot, which I think they're all bots. Every fucking time I post a video from these shows, some podcast promoter or a guy like Lumpy Scoop. Are you a kitty litter box cleaner or something? With a handle like that. They always come at me. Every day I say the same thing, not interested, no, thank you. And then they come back with wanting an explanation why I don't want to buy from them. Imagine every place you went to, somebody solicited you for something, and when you said, no, thank you, they demanded an explanation on why are you not buying my shitty service.
Imagine walking through a mall when they existed, and you go to the store, and somebody has perfume they want to spray on you. And you go, no, thank you. I don't. So why don't you want my spray on you? Why don't you? I used to take business cards, and whenever they wanted to spray on me, I'd say, do me a favor, spray it on the card. And that's what I used to do. And as I used to do
one less collar, one less collar for the Reverend on Sunday.
Well, but I was a teenager. I don't know if I knew the Reverend back then. I didn't know the Reverend back then. So these were just the business cards I had made because when I was dating, I would give girls my phone number on a business card.
So he used to have at Kmart, they used to have a vending machine where you could get like 15 business cards made up. You design it right there, like a little kiosk thing. And then for like a couple of bucks, you'd get, and I would take them to the club at night. Whenever we saw, without even talking to the girl, just first thing, hand her out my card with my beeper number on it until my beeper blew up. Because
now I did do, I was in an industry where I was always in a lot of meetings, and they would give us their business cards, like the executive vice president, such and such. Because I used to work for a company that rhymed with Comcast, and this is your business. And so I'd have these business cards. So whenever I travel and I'd hook up with somebody that I didn't want to be, traced back to me, I would give them their business cards. So I'd be like, wow, you're the vice president of marketing? Yeah, that's it. Was that what I gave you? Yeah, that's me. James Webb, vice president of marketing. Yes, that's me.
Well, mine was Chris. Well, I always had women bosses, so it would have had a woman's name on it. It would have been like, well, you're an ugly bitch. That wouldn't have worked for me. The business sustainability guy from New Zealand is not showing up too. He's late. Well, that's one way to be sustainable. It's just don't want to ever go to work. Maybe call in sick every day, and then have Matt Walsh just make fun of you for being a wussy man. But so yeah, I could have definitely slept today. I could have tooken today. Or tooken is tooken a word? Or is that
It
like
is. It is.
tooken? Taken.
Yeah, matter of fact, that is that's one of the movies. That's a Liam Neeson movie. Liam Neeson movie. Damn.
I know. It's so yeah. Phony Liam Neeson on Twitter every day gets people boycotting his movies. Like, you stupid fuck. I'm not the movie star Liam Neeson. Two E's. I'm Liam Neeson, like the car. So anyway, yeah. So no show again. You know what? Fuck it. Just fuck it all. That's what I say. Just fuck it all. It's Friday. Here's the thing. I'm stressing out about this gig tonight, like it matters, because I know I'm going to be tired. But it doesn't matter. In the long run, it's just another fucking gig in another fucking restaurant thing. And I'm saying fucking a lot. But I can't. This is a lesson that Kelly was going to teach me this. How to just stop being a fucking dick to myself and torturing myself over shit that doesn't matter. This is my biggest problem in life, is I am filled with anxiety about something that doesn't deserve any anxiety. There are things in life that if you're in a war zone, you deserve to have anxiety. If people are depending on you to come through in a really precarious situation that is life-threatening. If you're a doctor or a brain surgeon, you deserve to have anxiety. If you're a putz playing a fucking acoustic guitar in a restaurant, no fucking, you're stupid for having anxiety about it. But I can't let go of it. The conversation within this fucking wasted chrome dome just doesn't stop. The voices of, what if she doesn't know this song? What if you do it in the wrong key? Maybe you should review all. How do I just chill? And I know how to just chill. It's to smoke weed. But when I haven't slept, if I smoke weed and I haven't slept, I'm going to fall asleep in the car on the way there. That's not going to work.
Well, wait till you get there to smoke it. That way you won't fall asleep while you're driving.
All right, maybe that's a solution. Yeah, but by that point, I will be so exhausted from all the stress and anxiety I'm causing myself. I'll be burnt out, and just got to breathe, right? Zen.
Yeah, you have to, because you have to be alert, because you have to be there for Kat. You have to be there for Kat.
I think she's going to be fine. I really do. The only problem is, and it's not a problem, it's just that she hasn't done it before, is like discussing, okay, because I don't ever work from fucking set lists. I hate that. It's like what feels right in the moment. But it's going to be stalling between, you want to do this song? Yeah, okay. What key do you do it in? And she doesn't know. She's going to say, I usually put the capo on 4th fret or something like that. And then I have to figure out what key that means. Or I actually did do a lot of homework, but she's got a lot of songs and every one of them is in a different key than the record so I'm not going to remember them.
Well, what you do is you say, look, we're going to do all the songs with capo 3 first, and then we're going to do all the songs with capo 4, then all the songs with capo 1, then all the songs with capo 2, and that way you don't have to keep changing.
I don't think I think she uses the capo needlessly sometimes. But again, she's singing all head voice. I think if she allowed herself to really belt it out, which would probably drive her neighbors in New York City, because those apartment walls might be a little thin, it might drive them a little nuts. But that's what you have to do. You have to do it like it's a real gig, and then you find out, I can sing that in the record key. I can't if I'm doing it like this, or doing it for my phone, which is 3 feet in front of me or whatever. You have to do it like you're singing to the folks in the back row who are eating cats and dogs for lunch. Now,
that's why I used to have trouble practicing when people were in the house, because I wanted to practice like I would with a real crowd. And I didn't want people hearing me learning or fixing, or if I miss a note, I didn't want people hearing that in practice,
Right. Yeah, that's definitely an issue with me too. But here's the thing: we call us because she's Kat, I'm Mind Dog. So we're calling it Cats and Dogs. I'm worried. Are there any Haitian immigrants in the? I'm going to give you indigestion. I'll tell you right now. I won't. I don't digest well. That's all I'm just going to say. So don't eat me. Yeah. So it looks like our second guest isn't going to show too. I hate to say I'm relieved because that sounds like I didn't want to talk to them. But I know that with half a brain, I wasn't going to ask any good questions. It would be all up to you guys. Oh, good question. Oh, that's a good question.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to have the good questions and to point to you so you can go like, mark that down. No,
yeah. Now, what is your little
my plausible show is on the 27th.
That's what I meant. Little plausible thing.
Yeah, so it's on the 20. Oh, this way. It's on the 27th. That one right there.
That's next Thursday. Next
Friday, the 27th.
Next Friday. All right. There is an app similar to Plausible called Headliner, which is for musicians. You would think, why don't these things get together and just do one for entertainers, music or comedy? But Headliner is what Plausible is, but only for musicians. And they've reached out to me, and the founder of that company is going to be coming on. So we'll talk about that and basically what they do and how, if there's anything different that they incorporate that Leanne can use on her stuff. We'll definitely recommend it and all that stuff. She did send me out a list. Maybe if I were a good guy, I would read what's coming up on Plausible, right, and let people know.
Well, you did kind of say to her, send me stuff and I'll put it out there.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Comedy classes are here. Improv workshop by Bill Chott. Bill Chott is Tuesday, September 24th. When is that? That's this coming Tuesday. It's only $50 for all levels. Supportive environment, essential skills for today's comedy scene. Bill Chott. Bill is a Second City alum, original cast member of the Dana Carvey show, and voiced SNL's ambiguously gay duo cartoon on SNL. As well. The announcer and other characters. He is best known for Mr. Laratate on Disney Wizards of Waverly Place. Anyway, he's the guy who's teaching the program. Plausible.com, you can find out about that. Now, you can sign up for Plausible. You know what? Plausible.com, Plausible, 2 Z's, ABLE. You can sign up for there and host your own show. Mondays at 5 p.m., casual comedy open mic hosted by the one and only CEO of Plausible, Leanne Linsky. Show alert, Monday at 7:30 p.m., Static Radio Stream of Conscious Comedy hosted by Bob Lament and Miles. What do we got? We got conversations going on about?
Oh, I should have closed my door. That's my wife on the phone in her office. I didn't close my door.
I tell her come on the show and we'll listen to our business conversations.
Oh no!
We want to hear our business conversations. We do.
No, I'm gonna close my door because it's we shouldn't hear this. Sometimes the stuff is confidential.
We can't hear what she's saying anyway. But yeah, close the door and I don't know, get a divorce, whatever it takes. So that's Monday at 7:30, plausible.com. Static Radio Stream of Consciousness Comedy, which is different than the Zen Stream of Consciousness, blah, blah, live stream of consciousness, Kumbaya show, which we don't recommend to anybody. Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, Ruin This Show improv comedy, hosted by Brian K. Scott. Friday, September 20th, 7 p.m. I can't read. My glasses are fogging up here. Love Gone Funny, hosted by Grace Fraga. Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Crowd Work, hosted by Pablo Lewin. Saturdays, 12:15 Pacific time. Why are you starting at 15? That's a weird thing. Hosted by Barry Weisenberg. There's Barry's Open Mic. Show alert. Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Roast Battle, hosted by Pablo Lewin. Why? You know what? They're not listing your show here.
Because mine's on the 27th. You just said
Friday,
something for the
September
20th.
27th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You're Canceled, hosted by Curtis Dolan. Friday, September 27th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Psy Comedy 201. You're not. Oh yeah, Psy Comedy 201. It shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's you, Psy Comedy 201.
Psy Comedy 201. Shoulda, coulda, woulda told that joke.
Oh, well, I never heard you use Psy Comedy 201.
Well, it's the sequel to Psy Comedy 101. I did Psy Comedy 101 about 2 years ago.
Okay. I did not know about that. GD continues his goal to document his funny before he dies for good. Testimonials from previous shows. Funniest show ever. It was good. We enjoyed it very much. Definitely hilarious. That guitar part got my attention, but definitely some great new material. That's a testimonial for you for GD's show, which is a week from today at 5 p.m. Pacific time. She's doing it backwards. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's the way you do it. You don't put Pacific first. Come on, Leanne, get it right.
That's because she's a Pacificer, and so they're self-centered. So they put themselves first.
Well,
it's like in Europe. It's like in Europe when they do the date. We say the month,
that.
the date, and the year, and they go the day, the month, and the year. I think.
I hate that. You don't come first. New York always comes first. Keep that in mind. Or your wife always comes first. Keep that in mind.
And she's from Maine, not New York. So
let's say the same time zone, right? So Maine.
Yeah, but we're very competitive. We're very competitive. So
is there a part of Maine that is in that like Atlantic time zone or something? Because it sticks out a little bit, right?
No, all of Maine is one time zone.
All right.
Yeah.
Because there are, I don't know, there's a piece of the land out there off the coast that have a whole different time zone.
Yeah. Like Nova Scotia, I think.
Yes. But also down south, I don't know, somewhere, because maybe Costa Rica or something like that. Those islands out there, they have different time zone, Atlantic time or something. I don't know.
But I would think that if let's say you're a country and your country scatters 2 time zones, you could actually say, look, we're just going to recognize one time zone. We're one country. We're not going to, we're not that big. Don't fuck it up.
We should just go by like military time or something that should be a worldwide thing, just to not fuck with people. Because Sean Smith, I'm probably going to get that wrong. She's coming on Wednesday. She's from Australia. And they have several time zones in Australia, but their time zones are Eastern, Western, like the United States, but they put an A in front of it, like an Australian Eastern time zone. But she wanted me to do the conversion, which could be dangerous. I use Google to do the but I don't trust these things. So I might have given her completely the wrong time to come on. She's supposed to come on 9:15 Wednesday morning, which I think is 11:15 p.m. her time, according to what I Googled. But I could be wrong. We'll find out. But the time zone things, it's hell. So no guests today, 2 no-shows. I guess that makes up for the lack of no-shows that we've had we've had pretty good, like one of those days, it's been 0 days since we had an accident at work. It's been probably at least 2 weeks since we've had a no-show, right? Or am I just...
I don't know, but now we're making up for it, though.
Yeah. I'm okay with it today. I really am. I guess it gives me time to independently stress out about my gig tonight. That's what it does.
Yeah, I have. I'm starting to stress, and I know I'm starting to stress out because I'm starting to break out. Over the breakout because I haven't. finish writing my material for the 27th. Usually I like to have everything written a week beforehand so I can get a chance to go over it and practice and rehearse everything. So I may be like, I hate freewheeling it. I don't hate it. I just feel better if I know what I'm going to do. When I freewheel, sometimes I say things that are really way inappropriate, for the show that I want to do. So
wow.
I'm trying to keep this
inappropriate.
PG. Oh yeah, there's stuff that I do live for like a regular crowd.
You like putting with a cock, and you're gonna say, well, there's something I mean, you kind of set the bar at inappropriate right away from cock putting and balls to the face or whatever.
But that's why they're different shows. That's why Blessing and Blasphemy is one show and Psychomedy.
You're talking about that. I thought you were talking about the because you do have a cock putting show coming up too, right?
That's like, October 5th.
Oh, like a week later, yeah.
Yeah, a week later.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
And I just bought some new material for new games yesterday.
So you're doing what? This seemed like a lot. You're doing a new hour every time you do this plausible thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of writing.
Well, I'm pretty prolific, and that's why I can't wait for someone to discover me to start recording my stuff, because by that time I'll have like a backlog of 30 hours of material, and I won't have the time to do it.
Who's in the discovering business these days?
Well, I'm just saying that was just a thing. When I say discovered, I mean like become big time, like, because you don't really get discovered per se. Although people keep saying that to me every time I say I never expect to be famous. When I started doing comedy, I didn't expect to be famous because I didn't think I had enough time to do it. I didn't think I had enough time to be good enough to be, famous, so to speak. So,
you gotta be careful about who discovers you, because with your luck, you get discovered by somebody like Christopher Columbus, and before you know it, you're right back.
In my first year of comedy, I had the first year of me doing comedy. I had 3 people say, "Look, you're great." Well, not great, but for what I was doing, you're really good. I want you to open for me. I want you to travel with me, blah, blah, blah. And every last one of them crash and burn. One guy goes, "I want to represent you," crash and burn. And it was all alcohol every single time. They just went like on these benders and it was almost like I was the last thing they took on before they just couldn't take anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Been there, done that. But I had so many of these weird manager, agent people when I was young. Thank God those people, I don't know, that the market or the field of crazy manager, agents, all those people has narrowed to, and most of them are pretty good guys now. I don't know. There's one woman I know actually there's 2 women I know that are in the business of being bookers now. And they seem okay too, except one is like really, I don't know. She's a little hard to work with, but she's not shady. So.
Well, the best bookers I've ever worked with were women. I think it's because I have a different. I don't know. When with guys are booking, it's like a pissing contest, and I don't feel like having pissing contests. I don't. I just like you do.
The guys, the male booking agents I work with are all, how do I say that? Like they're really nervous. They're like chihuahuas, like barking constantly. Are you promoting this? Yeah, like every 15 minutes. Are you sharing this? Are you like? I'm getting text messages from one of the guys like all day long about sharing it, and putting an ad out on social media, all this stuff. Like constantly feel like I'm not promoting it enough, and I promote pretty hard. I think if you follow me, you know this, that I promote the gigs pretty aggressively, but that's not enough for this for these guy agents. They just like want to see more and more. Like I think you're gonna turn people off if you just keep shoving it down their throat all day long. Like come and see me, come and see me, come and see me, come and see me.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And I'm trying to find the balance between that and not being noticed at all. But
yeah. I want to go back to politics a little bit here, because I don't even know the guy's name, but Josh Moskowitz, the congressperson from Florida, he was talk because Comer, in his whatever committee he's in, he brought on a guy who said that Haitians weren't in slavery long enough. They should have experienced at least 30 more years of slavery. And the guy was trying to deny that he said that, but Moskowitz had the actual verbatim quote where he said they didn't last long enough with the French colonization. We should have left them in chains for at least 30 years longer than that. And the guy was denying it. But Comer proffered this guy. So we're at a point where, and there's Mark Robinson guy who said, slaves aren't so bad. I wish I would have, and I'd like to own a few myself. We're at a point where they're openly calling for the reinstitution of slavery. It's not just one or two guys. It's very troubling, and of course they deny that that's what they meant by it. Just like you talked about Trump's comment before about the audience. I guarantee you I can probably guess, not guarantee. I can probably guess what the rationalization is. Well, he was talking about the home audience and his response after people who was coming up to him on the street and saying, "Sir, you're the greatest president," or whatever he's going to say. It wasn't. He wasn't talking about an in-house audience. He was talking about the people at home watching who responded to him after. That's what he's going to say, even though we both know. We both know that in the moment he was just having a dementia moment. He thought he heard an audience going crazy. So they are trying to rationalize these slavery statements in any way they can and justify them. But it's just it's so fucking bizarre to hear them saying that out loud, like slavery would have benefited the Haitian people if they would have stuck with it longer. In what way? How could that have made things better for them? Like, please explain. Nothing. They're just going to dance around it with all sorts of rationalizations.
Well, I think the only rationalization because part of the reason why Haiti is treated like crap is because they threw the French out, and the French never got over it. So Haiti's been, because they have resources. They just it's like if nobody buys your resources, you're going to remain poor. And then if they go in and exploit you because you're poor, then you're going to get poorer. And I think, that's what they meant, that Haiti would be treated better by the French if they let the contract expire naturally.
It's Haiti speech. It's Haiti speech.
or is JD? We're saying the country wrong because according to JD Vance, the country is called Haitian.
Yeah. But here's the thing: the solution is pretty simple here. If you think slavery is beneficial, let's put the chains on you for a few years or so, and then we'll get back to you when you report to us how much of a better person you were because we enslaved you. I mean, if you got to have the guts to stick with your proposition and prove your point, right? So you think slavery? We'll start with you. Let's go. Get out and whatever it is. Well, I don't know. We don't have cotton to pick, but I don't know, peanuts, whatever you're picking.
We still have cotton. We still have cotton to pick. It's just being done by machines right now.
By machines, right? So that's my point. We don't need
peanuts, oranges.
Yeah, what could Comer pick? Look at, or even the guy he put up there. They're not going to be. No matter how hard you whip them, you're still going to get some fat old beast, old white man. Not a productive work. I'd rather have a Haitian out there working for minimum wage. The people, here's the other thing. J.D. Vance saying these Haitians were dropped in Springfield, Ohio. They weren't dropped there. They were actually asked to come there because they had a worker shortage. And most of the plants who've hired them, the foremans and managers of these plants, said they are outperforming the naturalized citizens, the people who were born in the United States, by a factor of 2 to 1. And they don't even take breaks they don't even take their allotted breaks. They're great workers, and they were asked to come there to take those jobs, and they took those jobs, and then they write back to their relatives and say, "You think life is pretty good here? Why don't you come here?" That's how they got a Haitian population. It wasn't that we just said, "Let's just dump a bunch of Haitians in Springfield."
Yeah, and not only that, they were, most of them were like in the U.S. already. You know, they just transplanted.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, the first story that started this was about a woman whose cat, Miss Sassy, went missing, and she blamed her neighbor, and the cat turned up 2 days later in her basement, just fine.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about the bomb threats and the fact that, you know, people are blaming everybody of a certain look now. My bad. I'm sorry.
That's the only story about a missing pet, and the pet wasn't missing. It was in the house the whole time. It's like one of those horror movies. It's in the house the whole time.
The other part of it is the geese. The geese are gone. But here we have Canadian geese. They are a fucking hazard. But there are also protections against them. You know what? I don't see why anybody is complaining about geese going missing. I can't imagine anybody wanting to eat a fucking wild goose.
They're gamey, but you have to know how to cook them. You have to know, otherwise they're going to be really fatty. You have to drain them.
And just, I'm wondering what we should do a test. How if you threw a goose burger at somebody's head, would it take out a window?
I think. Well, what part of the goose would be the goose burger? Because with a cow, you know. Well, no, you don't really know. It's supposed to come from a certain part of the cow.
Yeah, the breast. Really I think like turkey breast, chicken breast, goose breast. You just make chopped meat out of that. Chopped goose breast. And then you make a burger out of it. I guess it has to be. I don't know. This definitely has to. I have more conversation with my brother about this because he was almost an adult at the time, or he was at least in his late teens. I'm certain he has a much better memory of it than I do. But my memory is that the burger took out 2 full windows, like a whole pane. You know, that's a lot. And that just clear out glass, wood, everything.
That's what makes me think it was possibly 2 items. Like your father grabbed the burger, but the knife was attached, and so the burger went through one glass, and the knife went through the other.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And why, if my father could throw that hard, why
wasn't he in the major leagues?
Yeah, why isn't he in the major league? I mean, Nolan Ryan probably couldn't throw a burger that hard.
Yeah, but Nolan Ryan could throw 66 feet 6 inches. Your father could probably only throw 5-7 feet, and after that, it's a sinker.
Yeah. Well, we got to get to the bottom of these stories. I know my brother will shoot down several of the stories he wasn't even aware of because my father never took him to places he took me, meaning his cousin's house, his uncle's house, who were really mobbed up. I think my father thought I was too young to.
Right, I was about to say because you're too young to understand.
Yeah, he's not going to remember this stuff, or he's not going to be able to put 2 and 2 together. But I know I've had this conversation with my brother. He's like, wow, he never brought me there. I knew about Uncle Rich, my father's cousin Rich, and his father, but I actually went to their house and hung out with their kids and had an experience about. Because they were deep in. They were real. They were gangsters. They were mobsters. The old man, my father's uncle, was a legitimate hitman. His cousin Richie, he was like a once in a while enforcer hitman. But his father, that was his sole business. He was just in the business of killing people, whacking people. He's long dead, so I could say this. He's not going to get in any trouble. He's long dead.
The statute of limitation is death.
Yeah, because there are so many of these stories that need verification for me now. Because I'm questioning. I've been telling them all along. Some of them are in my book that is yet to be published. But if they're not right, I want to know now before I publish the book. If there's anything I got wrong in them.
Well, I'm putting my stories in my book and I preface it by saying this is the way I remember them. And if anybody remembers them differently, let me know. We'll put it in the second book.
I got it, and there's always that talk about the memoir. Every time, memoir is not a historical document. It's my memory of it, and memories can be flawed. But I want my memory to be as accurate as possible of it, so I'm not just a bullshitting people.
Yeah, because that's how the weirdest thing is that part of the when I was a young musician, and I thought when everybody thought that I was going to be like big and famous, I was really reluctant to want to be. I was kind of superstitious. You know how people say this is your 15 minutes of fame? I was really guarded over those 15 minutes because I thought I didn't want to waste them, have them come at the wrong time. And so I was really hoping that I would get my 15 minutes, but I wanted to come after my mother died, because I knew that if I became famous, people would look into my past, and I would say something, and then they would talk to my mother. My mother would go, "That's not how that happened. That's not what happened." And I had to call my mother a liar in public, because my mother, once she found Jesus, she rewrote her history. She rewrote her past when she found Jesus.
Where'd she find him?
In the liquor cabinet. He was hiding behind the booze, and once all the booze was gone, it's like, oh, there's Jesus right there. After the last bottle of whiskey, it's Cuddy Sock. There he was, right behind it.
See, now, I sometimes catch myself revealing truth to myself in these conversations. And the other night with Kelly, I did catch myself admitting that when I was young, I wanted fame. And you were just talking about you wanted it to come after your mother was dead. I desperately wanted to prove to my father that I had some value in life. I wanted to be famous just to prove to him that I was somebody. And of course that didn't happen. But if I look back, there definitely was a time, and some of it complete delusions of grandeur, like wanting to be I wanted to be a rock and roll star. I wanted to be, a rock star. Never had the talent for it, but in my mind, I thought I did, at least as a writer, not necessarily as a performer. But yeah, the other night I caught myself, because I've always said, fame isn't something I'm interested in. I haven't been interested in it for a long time, but definitely when I was young, I wanted to be famous, and I wanted to be famous just so my father would recognize that I was somebody, and somebody completely different from him, meaning, I wasn't into I was happy to escape some of the trappings that he got caught up into. And so I wanted that, and it just didn't happen. What does that make? What does that mean for the meaning of my life? Does that mean my life is pointless, or do I just my goals were just so fucking shallow at that point in my life? I didn't know any better, and just thought, well, that's the only way to validate my existence, is to prove to my father that the world thinks I'm somebody, even if you don't.
Well, my thing was theoretical. As a teenager, I started to approach life as if it were an experiment, and to see if I could do things and then repeat that experiment and get the same result, to test things. And so I wanted to be famous, but I wanted to be famous so I could have lots of money so I could help save the world. I wanted to fix things. I wanted to fix the world. I wanted to fix injustice. I wanted to fix inequality. I wanted all those things to be fixed. And I thought the only way I could have that is if I had a big voice in the world.
Yeah, me too, but in a different way, because and this was I kind of touched on this with Kelly the other night about, I had a big thing with John Lennon. I believed in Give Peace a Chance. I believed in like Imagine, which was really more Yoko's writing than his. But I thought he was like some kind of latter-day prophet or something with the stuff that he was doing. And when he was shot in 1980, I thought, well, I'm not going to let that die with him. I'm going to try to keep that spirit alive in music. And then I realized music isn't fucking changing the world. Nobody is fucking changing their behavior because of Imagine or Give Peace a Chance. Nobody, I don't think Give Peace a Chance had any influence in stopping
the war that it was protesting at the time. But then I definitely believed in fairy tales, and I believed in, you know, we can right some of these wrongs. I've become so fucking cynical and jaded since then.
Well,
I feel like the world is hopeless. But
when I was growing up, when I was younger, but not this is after after 8, when my father died when I was 8. So somewhere between the ages of 9 and 14, my family, when they realized I was smarter than the average bear, they thought that I could be like Martin Luther King Jr. And then one time, I remember one time my brother was really pissed at me. He was really angry, and he goes, I was 15 years old at the time, and he says, you're a fucking waste. He says, you could be like, you could have been like another Martin Luther King. You could have been like another Martin. You could have been like another Malcolm X. You could have been like Jesus. You could have been like Gandhi." And I looked at my brother and I said, "Dead, dead, dead, dead. Shot, shot, shot. Crucified."
yeah, not a good look.
No, I was terrified. I was terrified as a child to be found out, because that was what was happening to Black leaders when I was growing up. Well, not just Black leaders, but leaders who wanted to make a difference.
Yeah, anybody who tried to really, make any kind of positive change.
But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a positive change, but every role model that I had wound up getting a bullet, and I'm thinking.
Yeah, a lot of them got a lot of pussy before they got that bullet.
At 9 or 10 years old, that's not one of the things you're thinking. Like,
it was for me. That was the prime motivator in my life. There's no doubt about it. I think I've talked about this and got into arguments with Willie about it. Like, what not everybody thinks like you do. I'm not saying everybody thinks like I do. I'm thinking that's what my prime motivator was. And a lot of people who got into music, that was, not necessarily thinking about pussy, or I just wanted women, and I didn't. Pussy was part of the women, but to be considered attractive to the opposite sex. Ian says, ironically, Lennon credits most of the inspiration of Imagine lyrics from a passage from the Bible. I don't know. I've never heard that before. I'm not sure, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm curious now what passage and all that kind of stuff.
And which Bible? Is the Golfers Bible?
Right. But what I have heard from McCartney, from Yoko, I believe, or at least Sean Lennon had said that Yoko was really responsible for writing the lyrics, even though she didn't write them down. She kind of recited them to him. And I think there's some of that in the documentary where she's actually talking about these things as he's creating the song. But if I'll look that up, I got to find out what Bible passage he's talking about. Most of the inspiration, imagine, let's come from a passage in the Bible. I can't imagine. I can't fathom the idea that imagine there's no heaven would be in the Bible anywhere, right? Because that's one of the.
Maybe the passage is about heaven. He goes, but imagine there is no heaven. so, and then Yoko goes, oh, there isn't. But let me tell you the story. And she
imagine
goes,
there's no hell. I like to, as much as I expect to, if there was, that I would end up there. I like to think there is a hell for people who are just not forgiven by me yet.
Yeah, even if there is no heaven, I would love for there to be a hell, and and I would love to have a window so I can see into it and watch people suffer.
Yeah,
unless I'm one of the suffering, then it's like close the window.
I'm certain. I definitely I think some of my sins were unforgivable. Here's the problem. I think I black out my worst sins and don't remember them. And I've actually had nightmares about this. Did I ever kill anybody? I don't think I ever killed anybody. I don't remember though. It's possible. I just blacked it out. I have those moments where, because I know I have a strong denial muscle. I'm able to kind of black out really bad, painful memories. And so I often wonder, how much have I allowed myself to forget about? There's some dark shit in the corners of my mind.
I think, Matt, I think you should Somebody should let you know that denial is a river, not a muscle.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
It could
it's
be
a
a river
river.
muscle. River muscle.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And it'd be fresh water. I stand corrected.
All right.
Denial,
Swinging back.
river muscle.
Swinging back towards politics just a little bit. Do you know who Olivia Nuzzi is? Nuzzi, Olivia.
The name sounds familiar. Like I've seen it on a Chiron. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I think she. I don't. Obviously, she's got more influence than because when I first saw the name, I'm thinking, didn't she work on the Daily Show? I'm thinking Olivia Moon. But Olivia Nuzzi is a political reporter, apparently of some reputable source. I mean, she's basically somebody who has a lot of influence. Turns out she was having an affair with RFK while he was running his campaign, before he withdrew, but his name's still on the ballot and still is taking donations and stuff. But so on an extramarital affair, and this came out yesterday. I don't think it was part of the Ashley Madison stuff, whatever. I doubt that. She probably wouldn't. He wouldn't have to find her on there. But she was covering the presidential election while fucking one of the candidates, who happens to be married to a movie star. It's just very weird how, everything that comes out about this guy says he's still the fucking dirtbag he was when he was a heroin addict, screwing around on his wife so many times that she killed herself, and writing it in a diary. He's not showing any shame. And I was like, this is the one thing that's finally going to get him to stop tweeting on Twitter. Stop with this stuff. He's going to go into, become a recluse now, trying to deal with saving his marriage. Nope. He was right back tweeting again, like within 15 minutes of the time that I read that. And nobody is denying that she's not denying the affair took place. He's not denying it. None of the people close to it are denying it. So just weird. I mean, it would not shock me to find out that this guy was a fucking Jeffrey Dahmer guy at this point. Like it would not shock me to find out that he's eating fucking human flesh.
Maybe they had like a little meal over a campaign donation, campaign raising, or campaign fundraiser.
Yeah. Somebody's messaging me on Twitter now. It's probably Ian.
We speak about it, Gubs.
Nope.
Damn, and look, see, that's what it is. That's Steven's job.